I believe the whole of the Star Wars saga would have taken a radically different approach if it not for one single character, and the actions he would have had upon the lineage of a certain family, a long time ago, in a galaxy far, far away. In this video we're going to discuss why Qui-Gon's survival was crucial to Anakin not turning to the dark side to begin with, and what effect it would have on his life. We're going to stick to the movie canon timeline for this version and see what events would have changed.
This is where the fun begins.
The Phantom Menace. Now let's say Qui-Gon never died, he defeated Darth Maul. What would have changed? Well, he would have taken Anakin as his apprentice, trained him without the Council's permission till Obi-Wan was ready to face the trials.
I am ready to face the trials.
Thus becoming a Jedi Knight and moving on to taking an apprentice of his own. Bye bye Obi-Wan, your story ends here. I believe Qui-Gon Jinn would have been a better choice of a mentor for Anakin than Obi-Wan. Qui-Gon has always been a rebel. He is a straight to the point sort of Jedi, someone who will do what he must for something he believes in.
I shall do what I must, Obi-Wan.
This is even criticised by Obi-Wan in The Phantom Menace. The reason he's not on the Jedi Council is because he doesn't follow the codes and conducts of the Jedi.
If you would just follow the code, you would be on the council.
And this in my opinion makes him a much superior mentor. First of all, he was responsible for taking Anakin from Tatooine and rescuing him from a life of slavery to begin with, becoming Anakin's saviour. The small amount of time they spent together on Tatooine was enough to lay the groundwork for a long life friendship, and seeing as Anakin never had a father, Qui-Gon was the one to be that father figure.
I am your father.
Obi-Wan couldn't create this feeling of a father figure, the age gap was too small between them, that's why they were more like brothers.
You were my brother, Anakin!
This creating a sibling relationship between them both, acting like bickering siblings at times rather than mentor and student. Qui-Gon had a much closer relationship with Anakin, even though Obi-Wan trained him for 10 plus years. Unfortunately, Qui-Gon would have done it better. This is not to say Obi-Wan is a bad mentor by any means, he just didn't see the point in Anakin and only took it upon to train him because of his mentor's death.
Why do I sense we've picked up another pathetic life form?
I would even go as far to say purely based on their lightsaber colour indicated the better mentor for Anakin. Blue indicated a Jedi Guardian, a Jedi who used the Force on a more physical level. Green indicated a Jedi Consular, a Jedi who preferred to reflect on the mysteries of the Force and fight the dark side at its heart. This, with the knowledge of what Anakin was to become, shows who the better mentor was going to be. This is the case with Anakin's defection from the Jedi Order, and where Qui-Gon could have prevented it in some very big ways. Anyway, back to the story. Qui-Gon takes Anakin as his student.
I take Anakin as my Padawan learner.
And they live happily ever after until Attack of the Clones. Attack of the Clones! At this stage, Palpatine has his creepy little eyes on Anakin as his next apprentice. Attack of the Clones marks the start of Order 66, Palpatine's plan to terminate all Jedi using his clone army project, which sounds like the name of an indie band, while simultaneously seducing Anakin to the dark side. Not in that way. The Clone Wars doesn't happen in this movie because Qui-Gon wouldn't have gotten captured on Geonosis like Obi-Wan did. Good job, Obi-Wan. Thus delaying the need for a clone army to rescue him. Thus delaying the Clone Wars. It doesn't have a massive effect on the story so far, other than the benefits being Anakin doesn't prematurely lose his hand to Count Dooku. Count Dooku mentioned about turning Qui-Gon to the dark side given the chance.
Qui-Gon always spoke very highly of you.
I wish he were still alive. I could use his help right now.
During Obi-Wan's interrogation scene on Geonosis, but knowing Qui-Gon he wouldn't have ever turned, just as Obi-Wan points out.
Qui-Gon Jinn would never join you.
And if Count Dooku tried, it may have just ended in an untimely duel between old mentor and Padawan. This may have actually been the case in this alternate episode too, as Count Dooku and Qui-Gon were mentor and student, and at this point Count Dooku was turned into the dark side through Palpatine's seduction. Not in that way. So he would have tried to seduce, not in that way again, Qui-Gon to the dark side. As for the events of the movie in this version, Qui-Gon wouldn't have tracked the assassin Jango Fett to Geonosis, as it's not Qui-Gon's style to jump through windows. He would have taken more cautious methods. Again, he's a rebel, but a wise one at that. He probably would have just protected Padmé himself with Anakin on Naboo, being cautious to any impending attacks while unknowingly getting in between Padmé and Anakin's blossoming relationship. This would have avoided Anakin and Padmé's weird love thing.
I don't like sand. It's coarse and rough and irritating, and it gets everywhere.
If Anakin and Padmé still ended up together because of their true deep love, Anakin would have told Qui-Gon about their relationship, being a more understanding person of forbidden Jedi codes, seeing as Qui-Gon was in a relationship himself one time when he wasn't supposed to be. Anakin never told Obi-Wan about Padmé as it was against Jedi code and he knew that. There was a great chance Obi-Wan would have reported him to the Jedi Council and he couldn't take that chance. Anakin was suppressing a lot of mixed feelings about his relationship, and not being able to tell anyone in the Jedi Order wasn't doing him any favours towards his view of them by the time episode 3 happened. This changes when he can talk to Qui-Gon Jinn, who would have been there for him and put him at ease, because he once was in the same position himself. Anakin in turn feels more at ease with the Order, which by itself isn't much, but these things start to add up. While Anakin and Padmé are on Naboo, Anakin begins to get deathly premonitions about his mother, Shmi's death, prompting him to fly back to Tatooine with Padmé. Even with Qui-Gon as his mentor, Anakin would still have premonitions about his mother if she was in grave danger, except that by this time in this alternate Attack of the Clones, Shmi wouldn't be in great danger. Qui-Gon would have gone back to rescue her way before episode 2. You see, Anakin wasn't the only one that Qui-Gon bonded with on Tatooine. He got to know his mother too. Obi-Wan never stepped foot in Mos Espa, only Qui-Gon saw what Shmi and Anakin were going through as slaves. It wasn't all fun and pod races, and Qui-Gon, not one for following rules and one that understands loss, with the death of his own love, he would have helped Anakin free his mother. The only reason he didn't in episode 1 was because he didn't have enough money to buy her and Anakin, and Greedy Watto wouldn't bargain the both of them.
The boy and his mother.
No pod is worth 2 slaves, not by a long shot.
Obi-Wan the Rules Kenobi would have convinced Anakin that going back for his mother wasn't achievable because of, say it with me, the rules.
He never listens.
Shmi's death greatly overall impacts Anakin's turn to the dark side, as this premonition becomes true. Because she dies, inducing the premonitions of Padmé's death in episode 3. But if she was rescued, this would have stopped Anakin's premonitions to begin with, and potentially even by itself stopped the outset of Anakin's premonitions of Padmé in episode 3. These premonitions are something Palpatine heavily relies on to turn Anakin to the dark side. Without these, he has a weak playing deck.
I seem to only have high cards. I wish I had a royal flush.
It's not good in that. Just Revenge of the Sith. In between films, Palpatine has started the Clone Wars in an alternate way. You have to think, he plays for both sides. So if not for Padmé's death, which backfired, or the Jedi rescue prompting a vote, which backfired in this version, the Clone Wars would have started somehow. He would have made sure of it. He could have used his capture at the start of episode 3 for example, introducing the need of a clone army for the Republic to use to battle General Grievous's ships, to save Palpatine. Like the original version, Anakin and Qui-Gon sure enough could have been the ones to rescue Palpatine just as Anakin and Obi-Wan were. Count Dooku's duel with Anakin and Qui-Gon is interesting, because in this version it's the first time Anakin and Count Dooku have duelled, as the Geonosis incident never happened in episode 2. If the fight ended roughly the same, I do think Anakin wouldn't execute Count Dooku this time around. Anakin isn't tormented over his hand or his mother's death, so there's a glimmer of hope he wouldn't execute Count Dooku, which is one less step to becoming a Sith. Through the movie, Anakin starts befriending Palpatine as he slowly manipulates his point of view of things that matter to him. His main turn to the dark side hinges on 2 factors from here on in, both stemming from Palpatine's manipulation: his premonitions of Padmé's death and altering his views of the Jedi Order. At this point in time, what happened in this version may already be enough to stop Palpatine's manipulation. His mother is saved, which stops a large amount of anger and hatred for him, and any premonitions of Padmé might never have happened at all. But let's say Anakin still has the premonitions. Anakin consoled in Yoda, and not his master Obi-Wan Kenobi. And why was that? It's because, say it with me now, he never listens.
He never listens.
He spoke to Yoda because he's someone who listens, and can give undoubtedly powerful advice. Clearly Obi-Wan wasn't one of these people. Even from episode 2, Anakin starts to keep an ungodly amount of secrets from Obi-Wan, and it isn't all Obi-Wan's fault.
It's all Obi-Wan's fault.
He was only following the rules and he was still learning himself.
So good job, Obi-Wan.
If Anakin was still to experience his premonitions in this alternate verse, he would have spoken to Qui-Gon, who is more closer to Yoda in the scale of wisdom. If Anakin would have had more trust in his master and understood these premonitions better, he wouldn't have had as many reasons to doubt the Jedi through Palpatine's seduction. Not in that way. Palpatine sabotages part of Anakin's trust in the Jedi by nominating him for the rank of Master, only for him to be rejected, shaking his faith with the Order. Although he is offered a seat on the Council, it is without the rank, both usually being offered together. Although only a small problem, it adds to Anakin's anger issues. This situation is not so much about the rejected rank of Master rather than another suppression by the Council, mainly because he doesn't completely agree with the rules they set. It doesn't help that Obi-Wan has both the rank of Master and a seat at the Council. To Anakin, Obi-Wan is just another authority figure who suppresses his feelings and forces these rules and regulations to matter or mean something. This is where Palpatine's manipulation works. Anakin needed to distance himself from the Council and walk his own path, which he was never given the chance to do. Basically, Anakin needed to be a Grey Jedi. A Grey Jedi is a Force user who walked the line between the light and dark sides of the Force without surrendering to the dark side. It described Jedi who distanced themselves from the Jedi High Council and operated outside the strictures of the Jedi Code. This is where Qui-Gon truly is the better mentor. Jedi Master Qui-Gon Jinn was thought of as a Grey Jedi by some members of the Order for his frequent opposition to their demands. If Anakin was allowed to have more freedom as a Jedi, to have his relationship with Padmé without secrecy, and to rescue his mother without repercussions, basically to have things that matter to him outside the Order, he wouldn't have problems with the Jedi, this stopping Palpatine's manipulation from working. Qui-Gon would have been important in Anakin's rejection of the Master rank, because at this point he wouldn't care, learning that their opinions of him don't matter. Even the reason Anakin is a Jedi in the first place is down to Qui-Gon's Grey Jedi-like behaviour. Palpatine's plan also hinged on saving Padmé from death if Anakin were to learn the ways of the dark side. Palpatine would have still tried to befriend Anakin, this wouldn't have changed, as part of his plan was to seduce Anakin, not in that way again, but at this point he would have a hard time, or actually become disinterested as Anakin's mind isn't in a place of anger or despair. He would be unable to use the emotional strings of his mother's death or broken Jedi Order against him, so ultimately everything changes at one key moment, when Palpatine reveals himself as a Sith Lord.
A Sith Lord?
A Sith Lord. It's at this point Anakin wouldn't have any premonition doubts and he'd be close enough with his master and the Jedi to see through these mind games, something Obi-Wan failed to do.
I have failed you, Anakin. I have failed you.
He would have reported him to Mace Windu like he originally did.
A Sith Lord?
And Sidious would have been arrested or killed Mace Windu and escaped. And even if Anakin did turn up to the chambers in a hurry, it's this defining moment where he'll be confident enough to assist Windu and kill or arrest Palpatine, knowing Padmé's life was safe, as he wouldn't have any premonitions or to doubt her safety otherwise.
You have lost.
Alternate Episode 3 ending.
But what if Palpatine wasn't able to befriend Anakin and he never reveals himself as a Sith at this point,
I hear you ask. Well, he would have escaped without revealing himself and he would have executed Order 66 anyway. His grand plan is wiping out the Jedi. Anakin is just a bonus. Although a lot of Palpatine's plan was to seduce Anakin, not in that way. Simply, if Anakin doesn't turn, he doesn't turn. Just like Luke didn't at the end of Rotage.
So be it, Jedi.
Episode 4, but then what?
That means Qui-Gon and Anakin are possible targets by the clones, and it's up to further speculation if they survive the dreaded Order 66 attack. My best guess is Anakin would have exiled to Alderaan or Naboo with Padmé, where they would have settled down with their twins. There could be a possibility of Anakin having repressed feelings towards Palpatine and embarking on an alternate Episode 4 to track him down and kill him. But who knows? It would make for an interesting Rogue One style infiltration movie, with Anakin and old man Qui-Gon looking for the one that betrayed their order. This was all just one theory and it really can go in any direction. I created a brief flowchart just to show where these events can go, which includes outcomes that haven't even been discussed. Anyway, this is all just a theory, but leave a comment and tell me your thoughts about this. What would have changed? What wouldn't? If you like this What If video and would like to see another, tell me what movie you'd like to hear about with an alternate timeline. Just not Terminator Genesis. That movie is broken enough. And if you enjoyed this video, please leave a like and subscribe if you'd like to see more, and click that bell because that's the whole thing, and have a nice day, you Star Wars fans. May the Force be with you.